What's up guys, I'm Josh Newland. In this video, I'm gonna share with you guys the exact steps I would take if I wanted to play college soccer right now.
Josh Newland keeping an attempt on goal from happening.
All right, boys. So first and foremost, credit where credit is due. This is totally inspired by a video, Become Elite, just uploaded recently, where he basically does the same exact thing, except talking about what he would do if he wanted to play pro. I'm a college soccer player. I played NCAA Division III college soccer in Texas. It just inspired me to make that same video, but about college soccer, to share with you guys the exact steps, the exact things and methods I would do if I wanted to play college soccer in 2022. And I get tons of messages from people on Instagram just asking questions about, I'm a senior, or I'm in this situation or that, how can I play college soccer? What should I do? So I want to address a lot of those in this video today. And I appreciate everyone that reaches out on Instagram. Thank you guys for asking your questions. Exactly what I want. I want to be able to help you guys in your specific situations, what's going on. So I'm going to start with seniors in high school, what I would do if I were you, and then go down juniors and then sophomores, freshmen. So starting with the most urgent, as a senior, time is of the essence. First of all, hopefully you're already on a club team. If you're not, find one as soon as possible. Find whatever local club you can get to, ideally the best club in your area. Train with them, go to every showcase, every tournament you can. So if you can't find a club, if you're in an area where there's just no clubs, or if you can't afford it, you've got to play high school and you've got to be going around to camps and combines because you need to get as much exposure as you can. A lot of times clubs offer the best exposure. A lot of college soccer coaches, to be honest, just won't recruit players that only play in high school. They only look for clubs. So that is the most ideal, the most important. If you had to choose between club and high school, choose club every time. They also go to a lot of tournaments, showcases where a lot of college coaches already are. So that's the most ideal. But if you just cannot get into a club, you've got to be giving yourself exposure of going to camps, combines, putting yourself out there, making connections, playing high school. But a lot of times high school is later in the year, so it's just not ideal. But if that's all you got to go with it. And the most important thing is that you get highlights. You get some highlights that you can edit together. I have a tutorial out on my channel as well. You get a highlight film together and you send that out to coaches. I know it might not, if you just have a few games, you might not have your best clips in there or whatever, but trust me, my highlight films from high school were not very impressive. It was a lot of just very basic kind of defending things, not even a great camera angle or stuff like that. But the offers I got, the interest I got was just off some subpar highlight videos. So you just got to get highlights together as soon as possible, even if it's just your mom going out there with a tripod and her phone camera recording your games. Anything is better than nothing. When you have the highlights together, you've got to send it out to coaches. You got to email coaches, and senior year is not the time to be picky. For me, I had a list of about 80 different schools, and I just emailed them, fairly simple, with my highlights, a little bit of information about me, and letting them know I was interested in the school, in the program there. Again, I have a very specific tutorial on how to send emails out to coaches. So you want to check that out, it'll be up here. So now that you've got your highlights together, you've sent it out, a lot of it is just up to the responses you get. It's up to the coaches now, it's up to those coaches at those schools to reply to you. And when that happens, again, time's of the essence. Reply back as quick as possible, same day, ideally, because you don't have any time to waste. And realistically, to be honest, if you just start your recruiting process senior year, it's unlikely that you're gonna get D1 or D2 interest, and it's unlikely you're gonna get really solid scholarship offers from big schools. Now, if you have an amazing senior year, All-American or All-State, or you're winning every tournament with your club, that could happen. And there also still are certain D1s that they leave a few spots open to recruit late. But D1s, D2s, especially the best D1s and D2s, get a lot of their recruiting done early. So realistically, you're looking at a D3 NAIA school or a JUCO, junior college, community college team, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, still the best D3, NAI, and JUCO teams can compete, and a lot of them could probably beat the best D1 schools. But because of how they do their recruiting and things, just expect interest back, probably only being from D3, NAI, and JUCO. Now finally, for the seniors out there, if you do all these methods, you don't get any interest back, you don't get replies, responses, which again, I think is unlikely unless you really just aren't a good player, to be honest, or you don't reach out much, or it's just not professional looking at all. You still have the option of walking on to schools. Walking on is a fancy way of just trying out. And you call it walk on because basically, you're already going to that school, you applied, you got accepted, you're showing up for classes or whatever, but you just, reach out to the coach and just ask if you can try out with the team, show up to their first training session, and you don't have any scholarship offered to you. You don't have a spot secured before you get there, but you can go try out, go to one of their training sessions and see if you're good enough for the team. So that's a last resort. That's not ideal, but it still can happen. There's tons of guys that can walk on to teams and make a big difference, and even play, start, be one of the best players on the team. It's possible. So if you get late in your senior year or whatever, and it looks like nothing's happening, keep that in your mind. That still is an option. Now really quick, before I move on to the next section about juniors, please be sure to comment below. If you're in college soccer right now, let us all know how you got recruited, what you did to get recruited. And if you're in high school right now, you're wanting to get recruited, drop any questions you have below. I would love to answer those for you. Now, as far as juniors, again, a lot of these different grades in high school, there's going to be similar steps. So again, you want to be playing on a club. Find a club close to you, find the best club you can, train with them as much as you can, go with every game and every tournament you can with that team, get exposure out there, and gather up a lot of film so you can put together some highlights. Again, if you can't find a club, you got to play high school. High school is much cheaper, and you're already going to a high school, so you can play there as well. But club is the ideal. It is the best thing to do. In junior year, you can also go to some camps and combines. Those can get expensive quick, but it's another way. If you have the time, you can get some exposure out there, more coaches, eyes on you. There's a lot of guys I know that they got recruited from a camp they went to, from a combine they went to, or if they're playing club, they went to a tournament, a showcase, where college coaches were there watching. Once you have that sorted out, again, junior, you have a little bit more time, but time is still of the essence. It's very important in recruiting. So you want to get some highlights together, and you want to start sending those out to coaches, emailing coaches. And again, don't be too picky. It's always better to have too many schools you're trying to reach out to than having too few and not getting an interest back from those schools, from not getting any replies because you only chose 10 schools to email, whereas choosing 100 schools, you have a whole lot more options. Even though some of those schools might not be your dream, your ideal pick, you'd always rather have options than to not have choices at all because you're too picky about the schools you wanted to reach out to. So start that first round of emails, big, massive, and then from there you can narrow down based off what schools reply, their interest, how good of a team they are, how good of a school it is. Then you can start narrowing down, but always start out big. And with juniors, you still have a chance for pretty much any level to get recruited. Again, the earlier in your junior year, the better. But D1s, D2s, D3, NAI, JUCO, they should all be recruiting, still recruiting juniors in that class. So you have a little bit of time, but you cannot use that to procrastinate and to put it off until later. Junior year really should be the ideal year when you're doing the most emailing, highlights, traveling around for tournaments, camps, combines, all of that. And senior year, ideally, you already have an idea in your head of where you're going. Now for this last section, I'm just gonna kind of group freshmen and sophomores together because it's very similar. And this actually is a bit different from the methods I would do if I was a junior or senior. Again, like I said, pretty much a lot of these things are gonna be the same. You wanna be playing on a club team. If you're not playing a club team, get in as much playing and training in as you can with high school or whatever else it may be. Now these 2 years are really your best time to train and to learn, to understand the game, to be a student of the game, to learn from your coaches, from teammates, to just bring your skill level higher, because junior and senior year, you already want some good, solid highlights to send out. Freshman and sophomore year is when you can make a few more mistakes, You're probably not getting the most playing time if you're playing at a high school varsity team and club. You're still learning. You're still also developing as a player, just physically as well. So this is when you want to be putting in a lot of work to get stronger, faster, better, more skilled. So think of this as your time specifically grinding soccer-wise, football-wise. Junior and senior year is really when you can start adding in the aspect of emailing, highlights, reaching out, branching out, making connections. And the reason for that is because there's also certain rules, specifically for NCAA, which is D1, D2, and D3. Coaches aren't allowed to reply until a certain time in a player's high school career, which in years past hasn't been until after their sophomore year is over. So because of that, there isn't much of a reason to reach out to those coaches until late in your sophomore year. And even then, coaches are gonna know this guy's still a little bit young, he's gonna have some time to develop and improve. So really, you can start reaching out late in your sophomore year, but also understand that's just the start of getting in touch with these coaches. And most of the schools that are recruiting this early are the D1 and elite D2 programs. They try and get the recruiting done early, recruit younger and younger. D3 schools, JUCO schools, that would be very early to reach out to them. Not that it's a bad thing, but again, that's just the start of the relationship is, late in your sophomore year, summer going into your junior year. So those are the methods I would do depending on whether I was a senior, junior, sophomore, freshman in high school, what I would do if I wanted to get recruited to play college soccer. Now, like I said, there's overall themes. So the overall themes, the things you should be doing no matter what grade you're in. Playing for a club. You can play high school too as well. The club is the best. If you can't play club, you gotta train, play as much as you can, and get as much film and highlights as you can and send those out. Camps combines can be beneficial. It is expensive. It is quite a bit of traveling, but it can be a good way to also get your name out there, get yourself out there, because coaches are there in person. You don't have to worry about them not reading your email, things like that. They're watching you, they're there. And I know there's a lot of players that get recruited because they showed up to a tournament, to a camp, or a combine. If you're a junior or senior, you gotta email those coaches. Don't be picky. It's always better to email too many than too little. Be prompt, be quick about it, do not procrastinate. And if you are a freshman or a sophomore, really use that time to just develop as a soccer player, as a footballer. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something and that this can help you out. Like I said, comment below if you have any questions. If you're in high school, you're wanting to play college soccer, comment your questions, your specific situation. If you want any advice or any help, I will be there, I will answer. I also suggest checking out my playlist on my channel. It's all about how to get recruited to play college soccer. I have over 10 videos in there covering just about every aspect, whether it's calling coaches on the phone, going for visits, emailing, making highlights, whatever it is, I got you covered. Go check it out. The link will be up here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. If you like these kind of videos, please be sure to subscribe. Most of my channel is about college soccer, about the lifestyle of a college soccer player, and also videos like this of how I even got here in the first place. So be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you guys again. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.